know that there are thermometers everywhere.
There are? They're out.
They're out. So I don't have fever, but I just thought, yeah. What do you guys want?
I may be fine. I don't know where. You find them, right?
No, I mean, I ordered from Walmart.
Oh, good.
But if you want it, I can.
I'll see if I can find one. You used to have one. That was me.
We have a guest appearance. Bye. Right, it's 7 o'clock, time to get started. I am Amanda Brady, coming to you from Baltimore, Maryland, here for 75 minutes of Vinyasa flow. So this evening, or maybe it's afternoon where you're practicing, we're gonna really drop into our pelvis, our ground of being, and hopefully leave feeling a little bit more grounded, a little bit more settled. So we're gonna start out in a comfortable seat. You can see how I'm sitting in hero's pose. I'm sitting on a block. It's horizontal and flat. You can level up the block to make it higher, stack them up. You can set up some books. You can sit on a chair. And then for a few moments, rock forward and back and just orient yourself between your pubic bone and your tailbone. So you feel those two extremes, the extreme forward of the pubis and the extreme backward of the tail. And by knowing how far those are in each direction, you can more easily find the middle of the two. And then do the same between your left and right sit bone. Like you were like waddling like a penguin, but on your sit bones, left to right. Moving across the center of your perineum, the center of your pelvic floor, between left and right sit bone. And then again, find the middle of those two. And then again, a few times, make some circles, one direction with those four bones, those four bony landmarks. They make a little square or a diamond. You can draw a circle around that square, that diamond in one direction. And then draw a circle in the other direction, just a few times, just reorienting yourself into the bowl of your pelvis. And then come to stillness and find the middle. So if your pelvis was a sphere in itself, your pelvic floor is the center of that sphere. It's the very bottom of your bowl so that nothing would tip out in any direction. It would be able to hold water. Feel yourself plugged in. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And deep breath in and out through your mouth. And once more, fill up. Full exhale. And seal your lips and breathe in and out through your nose. From that place that you've plugged in, your pelvic floor, imagine that your inhale drives through your pelvic floor all the way down into the center of the earth. As you exhale, it rises straight up through you, out the crown of your head and into the universe. And as you inhale, it drops down into the core of the planet, that downward energy, apana vayu. And as you exhale, it rises up and out the crown of your head, upward energy, prana vayu. Again, you start to mediate that. You start to feel how it feels to drop down to the center of the earth and be of this earth. And then you feel what it feels like to really float up into space, be spacey. Inhale all the way down. And exhale all the way up. And then know that you are right in the middle. You are part earth and part sky, and the bridge between the two. And we're going to start to find some movements for pelvis, a little more formal now. So either put your hands around your heels, so your palms fit in the balls of your heels, or put your palms around your knees so they fit in the balls of your knees, or you can just lay your palms flat on your thighs, the curve of your palm or on the curve of your thigh. Find something that fits and something that gives you some contact that you can maintain. And then we'll start really slow and big through the hips. So first, tip yourself forward onto your pubic bone, almost like you were finding a back bend, a cow pose. And then rock over towards your right sit bone. Roll all the way back to your tailbone. Rock over towards your left sit bone, and then roll all the way forward onto your pubic bone. And keep that going so you're stirring a clockwise circle with your hips, really slow. And we'll add the breath. So you'll inhale as you go from your tailbone up to your pubic bone on the left, and you'll exhale as you go down from your pubic bone to your tailbone on the right. So it's a slow inhale around the left, and a slow exhale around the right. And keep it slow to start so you really feel the circumference of the circle that you're drawing. And maybe you can feel where your circle gets a little smushed, where it's not a perfect arc. We all have habits and places that don't want to cooperate. Okay, and then start to speed it up just a little bit, and the breath will match. So as you start to speed up the circle, inhale up the left, exhale down the right, in and out, in and out. So now you can imagine you're actually tracing a smaller circle. Like at first you were drawing or tracing the lid of a mason jar. Now you're tracing a penny. So it's getting a little faster and a little smaller. You can imagine that with this action, it's like you've poured wine into a decanter and you're just swirling that wine all around to give it some oxygen. So the waters in the bowl of your pelvis become fresh. They aren't stagnant. They've got energy and fluency and currency. Keep stirring it. You might even start to feel a little warm in your low belly, warm in your bottom floor down there. And then start to go really slow in the other direction, just like we started on the other side. So you go really slow in the counterclockwise direction. Again, just becoming so aware of every part of your hip, every angle. And now you inhale up the right and exhale down the left. And inhale up the right and exhale down the left. And keep that going nice and slow and feel where this gets stuck and where this has lots of volume. So you start to notice and uncover your strengths and your weaknesses. And once you uncover your weaknesses, you can start to make them your strengths. You can start to put forth effort into them. If we don't know they exist, then we can't do anything about it. And start to speed it up, in and out, right to left, in, right, out, left. So now you go from tracing the mason jar to tracing the penny. And imagine the Kundalini snake at the base of your spine is starting to rise up. That sensual energy rising up into your chest, into your heart, into your lungs, into your brain. And one more, in right, out left, and then come to stillness. Sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. And we'll find a twist. Reach your right arm forward and your left arm back. Keep your arms lifted. And then inhale, reach your arms back up. And exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. And then keep that going. So the twist is really coming from the power deep inside of you. And can you keep the orientation of your pelvis in place? Where you feel both sit bones on the ground or on your block. Your right and left, your pubic bone, your tailbone. So it's really moving from above your navel. And then once more this way, up. And then right arm forward, left arm back. And then reach it up. Left arm forward, right arm back. And then we're going to make it a little deeper, add some external levers. So take a breath in at center. And then exhale your right hand to your left knee and your left hand to your sacrum. Inhale to grow tall, right off the crown of your head, onto your pubic bone. And then exhale, twist a little deeper. And then inhale, rise all the way up. Arms up. Exhale, left hand to your right leg, right hand to your sacrum. Inhale, grow tall. And exhale, twist around yourself. Inhale, back to center, arms up. Exhale, right hand to left knee, left hand to sacrum, grow tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale, arms up. Left hand, right knee, right hand, sacrum, grow tall. Exhale, twist. And we'll put those two pieces together. Inhale, arms to the sky. Right hand to left knee, left hand to sacrum. Grow tall. Exhale, twist. Stay there, reach your left arm back behind you and see your left hand. Keep reaching it back behind you and up over your head. And see your left hand swimming up next to your head. And then see your left hand as it rounds all the way forward and grabs your right knee. So it's like you're ready for the other side. Take your right hand to your sacrum. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twist. Reach your right arm back. See your right hand. Reach it all the way up over your head. See it lift up. Round all the way forward. Re-grab your left leg. And then put your left hand on your sacrum. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale your left arm back, up and over. Exhale, grab your right leg. Right hand to sacrum. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale, right arm back, up and over. And then exhale, round, grab your leg. Left hand to sacrum. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale, left arm back, up and over. Exhale, grab your leg. Right hand to sacrum. Inhale, tall, long spine. Exhale, twist. Inhale your right arm back, up and over. Good, stay there. Hold on to both of your legs. Round your back. Get a little stretch through your upper back. And then keep the crisscross of your arms, but pull your heart through like you were in a cow pose. Open your arms wide like wings. Sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. Sit back on your pelvic floor. Exhale your hands to your heart. From here, blink your eyes open if they were closed for that. Come off of your block and come onto your back. So if you do have blocks or even a blanket, feel free to prop yourself up in supported fish for this, but you can also do this with no blocks under your upper back at all. But if you have a blanket, you could roll it up into this log, and then you could put that under your upper back and head so you have a little bit of support. So don't worry about it if you don't have it. But if you do, put your back on the blocks and plant your feet on the ground so you're almost like in a chair pose. And you're going to take your right ankle and cross it over your left thigh, and then flex your right foot. Take your right hand, heel of your hand, on the top of your right thigh, near your hip crease, and lengthen that hip away from you. So you have more space on the right side from hip crease to armpit crease. And then as you do that, keep rooting down through the left big toe mound, because that's giving you a sense of stability down there. Keep rooting down through that left big toe mound. And then if you have the leg there, if you're on blocks, you're going to let go of your legs, reach your arms all the way overhead, and grab opposite elbows. If you're not on blocks, find figure four. Thread your needle, wrap your hand around your left thigh, and hug this shape in. Whichever version you're doing, try to untuck your tail and plug your sit bones into the mat like they were the prongs of a plug plugging into the socket of the earth. And let that make your back bend a little bigger. Even if you're not on blocks, you can find that sensation of your chest puffing up. Take 2 more breaths here. And then release your hands back down. Uncross your right leg. Take a full breath at neutral. Full breath out. And then cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Flex your foot. Use your left hand right on your thigh near the hip crease to anchor it away from you. And really what that's doing is kind of putting it back in line with your right. Keep flexing through the left foot. And take some breaths along the sides of your waist. You can imagine that breath traveling up and down between your hip crease and your armpit crease. One more breath here. And then if you're not on blocks, find figure four, grab your right thigh, hug your leg in. If you are on blocks, reach your arms overhead and grab opposite elbows. So the weird, non-habitual ones in front. And then no matter what you're doing, dig your sit bones into the ground. So you'll get a bigger back bend. Let your lungs fill with air, the front of your lungs, let them fill up with air. Keep digging your sit bones down, plug them in. One more breath. And then gently release your hands to the ground. Uncross your left leg. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. And then if you're on something, roll to one side just to come off of those props and come all the way onto your back. And if you do have a pillow, a blanket, a block, feel free to put it between your thighs, but again, it's not necessary. And you're gonna reach your arms down by your sides, palms face down. Close your eyes, and before we move, we're gonna map out the foot so that you feel every room in the bottom of your foot and you can access the information and the stability within the whole sole of your foot. So keep your hips on the ground, but put some weight in your whole foot so it almost feels like you could lift your hips up or you're about to lift your hips up. A very gentle engagement. And then root down through the center of the heel of both feet. And then from there, keep rooting all the way up through the big toe ball mound. Wrap your awareness around the top of your foot and root down through the pinky edge of your foot and up to the pinky mound. And keep all those 4 points of contact engaged and lift up through the center of your foot as you root down through the inner heel. If you're holding a block, that might have made you squeeze it more. Good. Keep all that work, travel up the inside edge of your foot, and then go around to the outer heel. So you're doing so many things at once, dividing all your attention between every part of your foot, and then reach out through all of your toes. And with that engagement in the legs, lift your hips. And can you feel all of it? The evenness through all those little rooms in your foot. Keep breathing here and press down through the backs of your armpits to give your collarbones more space, the top of your lungs more space. 3 more breaths. Really ground through your feet. So when we find all that attention in our feet, we become more grounded because we remember where we are and we can only be where we are. It's such an easy, simple way to practice presence. One more breath. And then roll all the way down and try to keep all that weight distributed through your feet. It's like an experiment. What happens if we do this the whole time? And now we'll wave with the breath. So keep that awareness in your feet. Inhale, lift your hips, reach your arms all the way up overhead, backs of your hands to the ground. And then exhale, wave it back down, curl your back, unfurl your back. Good, inhale, roll it up, hips up, arm all the way overhead. Exhale, roll it back down. And 3 more like that. Spread out the weight in your feet. Feel the sensations on the skin, on the sole of your foot. Last one. And then we'll add a little breath work in Uddiyana Kriya. So this is a breath work that's really going to engage the deep, deep muscles of your core. If you're pregnant or trying to become pregnant, just keep waving up and down the way we were. If you had a big meal before this, you might notice a little bit more discomfort or challenge, but that doesn't mean you can't try. So we'll start the same. Inhale, roll all the way up. Keep your arms overhead. So you're going to keep your arms overhead this whole time. Take a full breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Hold the breath out. Scoop your low belly in and up, and if you have a block, squeeze it. Keep holding your breath out as you slowly roll down your spine. Keep your arms overhead. Should feel like a suction cup, sucking your navel in and up, your low back to the ground. When you get to the ground, first soften your belly, and then breathe in. And then breathe out. Arms still overhead. Roll up your spine. Take a full breath in. Out through your mouth. Hold it out. Scoop your belly. Squeeze your block. Roll it down. Soften your belly. Breathe in. Full exhale. Good, once more on your own. I'm going to do it with you, which means I can't really talk, but I'll lead us up there. So on your inhale, roll it up. Exhale through your mouth. And when you're done, bring your arms back by your sides. Take the block out, whatever you had between your thighs. Hug your knees into your chest. Find happy baby pose. Feel free to rock around a little left and right here. And then hug your knees back in. Start to rock yourself forward and back a few times. Good, and then we'll meet in a ragdoll at the top of your mat. So feel free to rock yourself there, help yourself there with your hands, and then come to ragdoll. Hold on to your elbows. Bend your knees so you can really drape your torso out of the bowl of your pelvis. Really let it flow like a waterfall off your back. And feel free to sway a little left and right. Feel the weight shift between your feet. Feel the response of your pelvis and all the muscles around it. And then release your hands to the ground. And bring your hands to your thighs. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Look forward. Exhale, fold. And inhale, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, fold. Once more, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then big breath, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Close your eyes, find your feet. From the center of your heel to the big toe mound, to the outer edge and pinky toe mound. Lift up on the center and root down through the inner heel. Reach forward through the inner edge and down through the outer heel. And then out through all of your toes. So now your legs should be really turned on. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart with these strong roots. Once more. Hands to your heart. And inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And then plant your hands, step it back to plank pose. And then in your plank pose, slide your feet back so that the heels are right over the balls of your feet. Your shoulders are right over the wrists. And we're just gonna find some work in the pelvis. So it's just like a cat and cow, only in your pelvis. As you inhale, you untuck your tail, like you're sticking your booty up. And then exhale, carve your tail. Inhale, untuck. Exhale, carve. 3 more, lighting up the belly by way of the pelvis. The core at the back and the core of the front. And hold yourself in plank. Lower all the way to your belly. And untuck your toes, pull yourself through to cobra. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, pull through. Exhale, lower. Once more, pull it through. Exhale, lower. And from here, press yourself up to tabletop. From your tabletop, cross your right knee in front of your left knee and widen your feet. And then we'll move through cat and cow like this. So it's really going to exaggerate what's happening in your sit bones. So as you inhale, round your back and really hug your sit bones toward one another. And then as you exhale, find your back bend and widen them apart. Get big in your booty. And then inhale, round your back. And exhale, find your back bend. 3 more. Last one. Good. From here, we're going to find a variation of side plank. You're going to take your left leg, it's behind, tuck your toes at the right corner of your mat. And then your right leg, tuck your toes at the left corner of your mat. Drop your heels to the right, reach your left arm up and over your ear. Maybe see your hand. Maybe lift your hips up to the sky because you're supported by that left leg. Take 1 more breath. And then come back to normal plank pose and back to normal down dog. Bend your knees, stretch your seat up to the sky to become the shape of an equilateral triangle. And you have a point, and that point is your pelvic floor and the sit bones that surround it left to right. Take 1 more breath here. And then step or float your feet up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, plank pose. Okay, this time in your plank pose, lower to a forearm plank. You can keep your palms flat or you can interlock your fingers. We'll do a move called rainbow hips. So first we got into the tuck and the untuck, and now we'll go side to side. So your right hip dips to the right, and then your left hip dips to the left. Then you draw a rainbow around yourself, right and left, right and left. Your balls of your feet can stay on the ground. Keep it going for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center. Lower your hips to the ground. Pull yourself through to Sphinx pose. And maybe widen your hands and start to lift your elbows up into a higher version of Sphinx, a higher version of Cobra. And then exhale, lower all the way back down. Press yourself back to table. This time, cross your left knee around your right knee. Widen your feet so you make a triangle between your knees and your toes. And we'll find that same action, cat and cow, really exaggerating what your sit bones are doing. So as you inhale, round your back, tuck your tail, hug your sit bones toward one another. And then exhale, back bend, and really widen them, left to right. Inhale. And exhale, widen. 3 more on your own. Okay, once more, I lost count. And then come to center. Tuck your right toes over to the left corner. Your left toes over to the right corner. Drop your heels to the left. Reach your right arm up. And then maybe start to turn. Almost like a weird wild thing. Reach up, up, up. Take one more breath. And then plant your right hand. Come back to normal plank. And come back to down dog. Take 3 full breaths here. Each inhale, feel it rise up and out through your hip creases. And each exhale, press your finger pads, the balls of your feet down. Inhale, rise out through your hip creases. And then exhale, press your palms, your finger pads, the balls of your feet down. Once more. And then look forward, step or float your feet up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. Interlock your fingers and reach your arms all the way up. So my hands look like this, but overhead. And you're just gonna tick-tock yourself up and over to the right, and up and over to the left. And each time you go to the right, root down through your left foot. And each time you go to the left, root down through your right foot. And just feel that travel up through each side. And come back to center. Keep holding on with your thumbs. Bend your knees like chair pose. You can do this with your big toes touching. You can do it hips width distance apart. Really sit back. So it almost looks like you're doing a down dog against the wall in front of you. Your hips reach back, your navel draws in and up, and your hands to the sky. Take one more breath, and then exhale, let it go. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, plank pose. And take a full breath in. Exhale, chaturanga. And inhale to your back bend. Exhale, downward facing. 3 deep breaths in and out through your nose. Feel your pelvis lifting you up, like your pelvis had a balloon tied to it. And your hands, finger pads, balls of your feet have anchors. And you mediate. You hold up the floor, you hold up the ceiling. When you're ready, step or float it up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Right, this time, reach your arms up and grab your opposite elbows. Shake out your head in the frame of your arms and really get your elbows in line with the crown of your head. Reach up as you root down. Find all of the corners of your foot, all the rooms of your foot. And then again, bend your knees, sit back into chair pose. And keep the lift up as you sit back, so you're really moving, and you can feel that you're moving in 2 directions. And take another breath into the front of your lungs, coax them forward, and then exhale, fold in half. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, plank pose. And from your plank, exhale, chaturanga over to your belly. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, downward facing. Stretch your seat up and back. And look forward. Step or float your feet forward. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. All right, reach your arms to the sky. Come onto your tippy toes. From your tippy toes, Start to bend your knees and reach your arms forward. Keep bending your knees, sitting down, 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 all the way onto your heels. You rode an elevator down. And then so soft and quiet, lower your knees to the ground in front of you. Interlock your fingers, sweep your arms all the way up to the sky, palms face up, and then make some big circles on the ceiling with your palms through your ribs as you sit on your heels and stretch the bottoms of your feet. And then switch the direction. Just make it fluid and free. Let it feel good. Let it go somewhere. Let yourself be a sphere. Be round and full and bouncy. Good, and then come back to center. Release your hands forward. And you're gonna pull your thighs back to lift your knees. Woo! Good, from there, lower your heels back to chair pose. Exhale your hands to your heart and hook your left arm over your right thigh into a twist. And inhale your arms back up to chair. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And then step your left foot back in a nice long lunge. And we're going to take it into an elevated lizard pose. So you're going to walk your right foot once to the right. Plant your hands like they're still in plank pose. So if you look from the front, you still have a frame between your shoulder, shoulder, wrist, wrist. I'm not making a funnel. And your right knee squeezes into your right shoulder. And then from there, flick your tail up. So you can see even in the video, flicking your tail up actually gives you more length back here, more access to the back of your right thigh, and you can find a back bend. Stay buoyant on the left foot, buoyant in the left butt, left thigh. Make this about the right. And slide your left hand closer to your right hand, so it is like a funnel now. And reach your right arm up to the sky. Keep hugging your right knee toward your left armpit now. Maybe look up at your own hand. Good, one more breath here. And then plant your hands. Step your right foot back to meet your left foot. Full side plank on your right. You can stack your feet. Reach your left arm up or over your head. And maybe look up to the ceiling or look at your own hand. Come back to plank pose, your choice. Vinyasa, chaturanga up dog, or right to down dog and bend your knees. And we'll be here for 3 breaths. Imagine now the opposite breath as before. So as you inhale, down through your hands and feet into the center of the earth. And as you exhale, the balloon lifts your hip creases up. And your inhale goes down. And your exhale lifts you up. Once more. And then look forward, step or float your feet up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. Right, same as before, arms to the sky. Rise to your tippy toes. Start to bend your knees forward, lower your arms in front of you as you ride the elevator down. And then with control in your core, so you lean back to lower your thighs down. Okay, reach your arms up into a wide V and make cups for hands. Connect your pointer, or your ring finger rather, and your thumb in that cup. And then we'll pump out 100 Kapalabhati breaths. So that's a rapid exhale through the nose by pumping, snapping your belly back. So we'll start together. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale halfway and begin. Can you race to the finish? Big breath in. Hook your thumbs over your head, hold it in. Take an extra sniff, extra sip. Bottle it up from your feet to your head to your fingers. And then pop your cork. Let it go. Reach your arms forward. Hug your knees back all the way to chair pose. Hands to your heart and hook your right arm over your left thigh now, twisting the opposite direction. And then inhale back to chair. Exhale, fold in half. And inhale, lengthen your spine. And then plant your hands, step your right foot back. Find that long lunge. Left knee at 90, sole of the right foot at 90, so you're buoyant. Toe heel your left foot over once. Plant your hands inside your foot, planks distance, and then hug your left knee in as you flick your tail up and reach your sternum forward. Feel the whole left foot. Breathe into the whole left thigh. And then step your right hand next to your left hand. Keep your legs working just as they are. The torso changes from your belly button up. Reach your left arm up. Keep it bending your left knee to 90 and hugging it toward your right armpit. Integrating through your pelvis. Right hip up, left hip back. And then release your left hand to the ground. Step it back to plank pose. Side plank on your left. Reach your right arm up to the sky, maybe over your ear. Feel your feet, even in space here. Whoops. Okay, and then come back to plank pose, back to down dog. I lost my fancy light. Sorry. All right, look forward. Step or float your feet up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. All right, so we're gonna move a little bit in our hips, warm up in the outer hips especially. So that same pose, figure 4 pose that we found before, we're gonna go in and out of it a bunch of times. So sometimes I like to do this holding onto the wall or like holding on to the bookshelf or a chair, but you can also do it balancing, it's just harder. So we'll start standing on the left leg. You bring your hands to your heart, hands to your hips, whatever you like. Hug your right knee into your belly, cross your ankle over your thigh and sit down. And then inhale, stand back up. Hug your left knee in, cross it across your right thigh, sit down, and then stand back up. And then that's the move. You're just sitting and standing, opening and closing, back and forth, just warming up back there. Okay, one more with the left leg. And then stand up, arms to the sky. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot back. Long lunge, turn your left foot to the ground. Plant your right hand inside your foot so it's glued. Hand to foot, chin to arm, shoulder to knee, torso to thigh. Bring your left hand to your tail and flick it up. By that little cow pose action. And then use your right knee in your shoulder to help you turn from your navel up. So your pelvis stays stable. It stays as your ground of being. You are grounded and holding ground so that you can get around yourself, so that you can get over yourself. And if you don't have the stability to do that, it's gonna be hard. It's a metaphor and literal. And put your left hand on the ground. Lower your left knee to the ground. And really walk it back so your right knee stays at 90. And then shift your hips back to half split. Good, and then even here, flick your tail. Keep a bend in the knee and contact between your thigh and your chest. And try to find a back bend over your thigh. So again, you're getting over yourself. All right, from here, shift your weight forward onto your right foot. Plant your hands, tuck your left toes, and sweep your right leg up and back behind you. Stack your hip, bend your knee, and then feel free to move it all around. So in the pose with our leg on the ground, we had stability, and now we have mobility because we have stability elsewhere. Stability in our left leg and in our hands. Okay, from here, I'm gonna stay in down dog. Hug your right knee to your nose. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh and bend your left knee. So you're in figure 4 in your down dog. Get really bouncy on the left leg. Look at your thumbs. You're gonna spring your right foot forward. Spin your left heel back down. I'm gonna show you this one from the front view. So your legs are in their own lanes, left to right. Your legs are in warrior 1, warrior 2. You're gonna keep your legs here, keep holding your ground. Walk your hands over to the left. And then relax your head right inside your arms. So your ears are in line with your arms. The crown of your head is aiming toward your fingertips. So your upper body's in down dog. It's called down dog lunge. And keep holding the ground with your legs. You're gonna walk your hands back in. Tuck your left toes under. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Side plank on your left. If you like, take your right foot behind your left thigh. Open it up into a little wild thing. And kink that hose at the right hip. Okay, and then come back to down dog. Reach your hips up. Each exhale, reach your hip creases up. And then look forward. Step or float your feet forward. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. All right, same thing, we'll start with the left leg this time. So wherever you need your hands for stability, wall, chair, coffee table, hips, heart. Hook your left ankle over your right thigh, sit down. And then stand. And then keep it going. I find that it's helpful to look at something that's not moving because I keep falling every time I see myself in the screen. Okay, one more with the left, and then one more with the right, and then come back to stand, arms up. Exhale, fold in half. Good, step your right leg back. Long lunge to start, and then spin your right heel to the ground. Plant your left hand. And it's actually kind of cool right now in the video. You can't tell whether I have shin or an arm because they're in such contact, they look like one unit. Find that for yourself. Right hand to your sacrum, flick your tail, and turn from your navel up. Use your left knee in your left shoulder. Keep flicking your tail up into your hand. Maybe reach your arm up. Breathe into the back of your left thigh. It's the equivalent of your lung. Superimposed on each other right now. leg back until your knee is right over your ankle. And then shift your hips back and keep the contact. Your thigh on your chest on your thigh. And then from there, find your back bend. Like your tail up, reach your heart forward. So you're really trying to be honest with what's happening in your pelvis. Rather than going where you know you can go, can you find that stability and go somewhere you don't like to go? So again, your weakness can become your strength. And then come forward, plant your hands, tuck your right toes, lift your left leg up and back, start to move that hip all around. And then come into down dog with your knee to your nose, thigh to your chest. Hook your left ankle over your right thigh and bend your knee, sit up and back. Get a little bouncy in your right leg. And you're gonna bounce your left foot forward. Spin your right heel back down. Down dog lunge. Left leg stays anchored, knee over ankle. Hold your ground as you walk your hands to the right. Relax your head right in between your arms. Don't let it get droopy. Keep a curve in the back of your neck so you can find the curve in your low back and find the stability in your hips. Two more breaths here. Breathe it in, breathe it out. And walk your hands back in. Step it back to plank, to side plank on your right. And then wild thing, maybe left foot behind. Push into both feet. Lift your hips, make yourself a rainbow. And then back to downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths in your downward facing dog. And then look forward, step or float your feet up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. So if you have blocks or you have a chair or coffee table nearby, feel free to use that for our balance, which is the figure 4 balance. We're just gonna hold it for a couple of breaths. So we'll stand first on your left leg and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Good. And then from there, bend your left knee and hinge your hip creases back. Imagine you are back on the ground, plugging both your sit bones into the ground, but now plug them into the wall behind you. And then maybe you reach your arms forward, and you can hold on to the table, you can hold on to your blocks, lift your hips up, bump your right hip over to the right like you were shutting a car door. And take a few breaths here. If you want to try another variation, you can come into your arm balance if you know how to practice that. Otherwise, stay long and breathy. And then to come back up, bring your hands to your hips. Stand all the way up. Put your right foot on the ground. Put your hands on your back like you're putting them in your pockets. Hug your elbows back. Lift your heart up. Again, you're unkinking, unfolding your hip creases. Breathe all the way up the front and all the way down your back. One more breath. And then come up. And we'll find the other side. So now your left ankle over your right thigh. Bend your right knee and hinge at your hips, both of your hips. Good. Flex your left foot and really plug your sit bones into the wall behind you. So it's that cow pose, flick of the tail up, and then reach forward towards something. The ground, the blocks, the table, the chair. Really find the length. Be flicking your tail up. One more breath. And then nice and easy, hands to your hips, rise up. Woo. Uncross your legs. Hands back in your pockets or interlock your hands behind you. And either way, press your hips forward, lift your lungs up. And then as you exhale, fold in half. Feel free to keep the interlock or release your hands to the ground. Just take a few breaths here. And then release your hands all the way to the ground. So from here, we're going to come into yogi squat. Walk your feet as wide as the mat. Maybe you turn your toes out and lower down into your squat. Keep plugging your arm bones into the shoulder socket so that your chest, your sternum can come forward. Okay. And if you notice that you're really rounding, you're really struggling, first widen your feet, but then second, really what can benefit everyone is to flick the tail. It's harder, but it's better. It's good for your hips. And one more breath, breathe it. And then bring your hands to the ground, turn your toes in, fold in half. So we're gonna find a little swimming action. For me, I find it to be a little more stabilizing to scoot my butt over to a wall. But you can do it in the middle of the room as well. You're gonna crisscross your arms so that you grab opposite ankles. So your stance might be not as wide as you usually have it for a wide forward fold. And then sit on the wall with your sit bones. Feel that plug. Your knees will be bent. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Sweep it all the way over your head, and then re-grab your left ankle. Inhale your left arm up. Sweep it all the way overhead, re-grab your right ankle. And then keep that going, just like the beginning of class when you were kneeling and swimming the arms. Can you see your fingers? Stabilize through your hips. So strong in your legs so that your torso can be free. Your breath can be free. Your imagination can be free. Your vision can be free. All because you have stable roots. You have substantiated through your legs. You are holding your ground. And one more stroke each side. I know it's spicy. I feel it too. Whew, and then let that go. Step it back to a plank pose. And then lower all the way to your belly. Take a moment on your belly. You can stack your palms and put your forehead on your palms. You can turn your head to one side and rest your arms by your side. And then we'll find a belly down back bend here. Either locust pose or wheel pose, whatever you prefer. Lift the chest, the head, the arms, the legs. Interlock your fingers behind your back and lift your chest a little higher, the backs of your thighs a little higher, or bend your knees. Grab your feet and kick it back. We'll be here for 4 more breaths. Can you slow it down and breathe fully? And exhale completely. 3 more. Experience the sensations. Trust yourself to handle them. One more big inhale. And then lower it all the way down. Feel free to shake out your hips. And then we'll come to a tabletop. You're gonna come back to a similar shape that we had at the beginning of class. You're gonna cross your left knee behind your right knee. But this time, you're gonna stand up on your shins. So first, widen your feet, because that'll give you a stable base. If you need a block or books or something can help you up. So you're standing on your shins. You're gonna shift the weight toward your right knee. Squeeze your left butt cheek to pull your left hip around to the front and your right hip around to the back, like you're tightening up a screw or a bolt. And then interlock your fingers, reach your arms to the sky, and find a back bend. Keep squeezing your left butt forward, your left lung forward. And then gently let that go. Hinge at your hips, bring your hands to the ground. And I'm gonna sit back into Gomukhasana. So I like to sit on a block or like a stack of blankets because we want the hips to be above the knees. Because if you think about the bowl of your pelvis being your waters, we want the water to be able to flow somewhere. You don't want it to get stuck and just catch things. You want it to flow. So find a seat that works for you, where you can tip forward onto your pubic bone. Reach your arms back up to the sky. This time grab opposite elbows and lift yourself up. So you use your own hands to handle yourself. You can stay just like this, working this back bend, tipping forward through the pubic bone, up through the lungs and elbows. Or you can reach your arms down, but keep tipping forward. Maybe you walk even further forward and fold. And try to find both of your sit bones and flick your tail all at the same time. 2 more breaths here. And then you can walk yourself up. Move the block out of the way. Sit back and uncross your legs so they're wide. But keep your knees bent. Bring your hands behind you and prop yourself up. So again, you have a back bend on your tailbone. And then from there, you can start to reach your heels away. And you might stay just like this, keeping a long spine, a 90-degree angle between your torso and the ground. Or maybe you walk your hands forward and fold. And walk your hands back up. Help your knees together. You can cross your ankles just to come back to your tabletop. And we'll find that same pose, same sequence on the other side. Your left leg goes in front. Separate your feet wide so you have a stable base between your knees and your toes. Walk your hands in, maybe onto something, maybe just up your leg, and then shift the weight into your left knee. It's gonna help you. And it's like your left knee is now like your pubic bone and your nose. It's taking a risk, sniffing out the situation. Reach your arms up, interlock your fingers, flip your palms to the sky, behind that back bend. Now squeeze your right butt. Lift up your right lung. See out through your right eye. And then gently let that go. We'll sit back into Gomukhasana again. On a block, on a blanket. Find the slide, the pipe that your pelvic waters can slide out of. They can return to the water cycle. And then reach your arms back up, grab your opposite elbows, tip yourself forward onto your pubic bone, lift up through your elbows, open up through your lungs. You can imagine that you are lifting yourself so much that you're relieving pressure of all the organs down in the bowl of your pelvis, down in your lower half. You're giving them space to operate more functionally, to take breaths. You can stay up like this, giving yourself that beautiful space, that therapy, or bring your hands to the ground and fold. Can you maintain the space you created? And lift yourself back up. Get off of your block. Bring your legs back out in front of you. This time they'll be just as wide as your mat, maybe a little wider. We're going to find the same thing we found standing, sitting. So again, if you want to sit on something, it can be really helpful here, because having a tilt is helpful to the whole situation, all the alignment of your body. Crisscross one arm on top of the other, grab your opposite ankles and get real close to yourself. Almost like you're a turtle in a shell. It's like a variation of turtle pose, but we're not reaching the arms through. We're crisscrossing. Good. Now keep your knees bent, but push your feet away, just to your capacity. So you don't really have a stretch in the legs right now. And keep your feet flexed, toes pointing up. And then we'll start with the left arm. Reach your left arm back, all the way up overhead, and grab your right ankle. And then reach your right arm back, all the way up overhead, and grab your left ankle. And then keep that going. And as you reach back, really find your twist, and then see yourself come forward, swimming forward. Reach back and swim it all the way forward. Good. Twice more each side. And then come to stillness. You can let go of opposite ankles and just fold right here. Take a breath. Maybe you hold on to the pinky edges of your feet, almost like you're in a happy baby pose, upside down. Pull your heart through. And then roll yourself up. Help your feet back together. We're going to come back down onto our back. And before we take Shavasana, we're going to do a little thing I love to do with your pelvis. So you're going to keep your feet on the ground, your back on the ground, and you're just going to lift your hips up an inch and then let them drop. Lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop. So it's almost like you're playing a drum with your sacrum on the ground. And keep doing it. We'll do it for about 30 more seconds. Almost like you're playing with and just realigning everything down there. Drop, 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 drop. Drop. One more final drop. Lift it up and plop. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Big breath in. Full breath out. And then let go of conscious control of your breath. Open your legs out to Shavasana if you haven't already. And let yourself be free and easy. Unfolded of all those shapes back to a blank piece of paper, ready to receive the insight, the inscription. I'm going to go ahead and turn off this live stream now, but I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure practicing with you here virtually. Namaste.